Hey, what up, Bree here? Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate everyone, and thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. And thank you so much for checking out my website, paradxastrology.com. I am a professional astrologer. I can help you with anything. And right now I'm having a sale for $40 off your hour consultation, so hit me up. Okay, let's get into this video. So, been actually studying a saint, a female saint, and her name is Ānandamayī Mā, and she was amazing. And the reason I started studying her is because she has the same ascendant as me and very similar placements. Like, I have the exalted Venus in the first house in Pisces, and she had that too. There was a few other things too, which is a really good idea. Is study everybody who has your same placements, and you're going to learn a lot. Study their life. And I actually had a spiritual experience by reading her book. And I'm going to explain that to you. I'll probably make a video about her in the future. I'm just going to explain a little bit about her because she was born already awake. And she was born in India in the 1800s. And when she was young, when she was 13, she was given away for an arranged marriage because that's what they did back then. But when her husband tried to have like sexual relations, he would see her and she would turn into the goddess Kali. And he was so amazed by that because, well, it scared him off, first of all, but then he was amazed by it and he devoted himself. He became a devotee to her because she was able to do a lot of amazing things. And Revati ascendants, like if you watch my channel, you're gonna be like, oh, that's where she gets it from, because it's the last nakshatra. You're able to do a lot of things, and because you are an accumulation of all of the nakshatras. So she was able to do a lot of things like float. People would come visit her for her whole life. Like, word got out that she could actually heal people by just touching them. And she would do a lot of sessions where people would come and she would heal them. She would tell them their future, everything like that. She stayed just practicing her whole life. And some people would come to do these sessions to see her, and she would actually float in the air. She was so connected to higher consciousness because she just lived her life like that she had these amazing abilities I could only wish to have. I really look up to someone like that, and she helped the world, and she never wanted any attention from it, which is something I really want to do as well, but that's not my path. But I would love to not be on social media and just be like EJ, the astrologer, who doesn't go on social media and who is always completely booked up helping people. I would love to do that and not have any social media, but that's not my path, which I thought was amazing because she's very humble. And so I was reading her book, and it was talking about, the one chapter was talking about how people would come see her and how she was floating up in the air like a leaf. While she was doing that, because the author wrote a biography about her, and she was talking about being there and what it was like, because she would spontaneously go into these, what they call, it's like god drunk, and she would go into a spontaneous meditation, and then she'd start saying all these mantras, because even though she wasn't educated, she was able to talk like a scholar. She was able to access all the Sanskrit mantras from her higher self. She was able to understand spirituality just from herself. She was never taught. She was actually one of the first people that never had a guru, which is exactly what I do. I've never had a guru. I've never been taught by anyone, and I really practiced what I preach and preach that you can learn from yourself. Like, you're your best guru. And that's exactly what she taught, which is Revati Ascendant right there. So when I was reading the book, it said the mantras that she said. I looked at the book, and then all of a sudden I just felt like reading the book out of nowhere. Usually I work out at that time. I just started reading it, and then I decided to say the mantras. So I started saying the mantras over and over and over and over, because she would say these mantras like hours, and probably more than 2 hours, but hours and hours. She'd sit there and do the mantras because when you do the mantras, you get into a meditative state, and then all of a sudden you get answers, right? Which is what I do every day, but I've never heard of these ones. So I started doing it, and then I started getting into a meditative state, and I started feeling the energy, and I'm like, okay. And I also read in the book before that she would instead of using the name of Vishnu, she'd say Hari, and Hari is the name of Vishnu, which is the name of God. And a lot of people say that if you use the name of God, just Vishnu's higher consciousness, you can bring up higher consciousness or God. And that's a well-known thing, like even Hebrews say that. And even Seven Bomar talks about that, the metaphysical teacher, how he said the name of God in a chant, but he uses the Hebrew version, the name of God, and he said it for 2 hours, and then he had a spiritual experience. So then I started saying, oh Hari Hari, oh Hari Hari, to get Vishnu. And because I knew that these things would work for me because we have similar placements, the same ascendant. So I started saying that over and over and over again, and then I started feeling it, like I started feeling the energy, because I know what that feels like, because I've had Kundalini awakenings before. But this was kind of spontaneous, and it started going up and up and up, and I felt it so much, and then I just started crying. I started crying so much, like of happiness though. And then it was just streaming down my face, like snot, everything just streaming down my face. And I was like, oh my God, I felt bliss, like so much bliss. It's like Vishnu, it's like I felt it within me, and then he came within me, and then I was like, oh my God. And I felt like this intense energy, because I used to channel, and the reason I stopped is because I started making money, and then I got in my ego, and then I stopped meditating. And I used to just spontaneously channel and write it down, and it would speak through me. My dad's able to do that too, and then because we both got on this high vibe and then helped each other, and then so I used to channel. So I started feeling, and channeling is like an energy within you, and it feels like you know the feeling when you feel like you're gonna throw up? It's like that. In a way, like something has to come out kind of feeling, but not in a distressing way. It's like you have so many words and energy that you have to spill it out. That's what it feels like. So I almost got to that point, but it's going to take a little more practice. But I started feeling it, crying. And I was like, oh, Vishnu, I'm like, yes, I wanted to feel the higher consciousness. I wanted to feel that. And I was like, oh, Hari, 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 Hari. I was like, am I there? Like, is this higher consciousness? And then it told me, it said, you are always higher consciousness. Your name is Re. And it hit me, it's Hari. And I was like, wow, I never put those two together. And the weirdest thing is my real name, that's the name that was given to me. And then at the time, he told me nothing is an accident. Even the things you think are an accident are not an accident. Have patience and have devotion and have connection. And my real name has Christ in it. And Revati ascendant is the shepherd. So the Jesus energy, the Jesus that we see in Christianity, is actually Revati. So that's why Ma, she was going around healing people, and she was the nurturer, and then that's the Jesus energy. And everybody has certain placements of certain gods, and they're able to bring up that energy. If you go to the highest consciousness, you can live out that God energy. And that's why you got to go and look at people who have similar placements to see what you're playing out, or know the nakshatra. But I always saw it because I got rid, at the time, I hated my name. And it's Christy, by the way. And Christy is crystalline energy. It's Kundalini energy. So my name is literally Kundalini energy, and I hated it when I was a kid because I always heard it when I was in trouble, and then my mom died, and then after that, I didn't want to hear my name being called anymore because my mom died. I would hear that from my mom. So then I thought that once I was kind of in my ego and I was rapping, and then the name Re came to me in my head, but I was the re-up on the street because I was living a street life, and before I became a dancer and before I became a rapper, I was living a very street life because I didn't want to be at home. My mom was an alcoholic, and I was like, wow, I can make money just, doing this. And so I thought I was the re-up. I thought re-up, but it was really telling me that. And then Re is a Revati, which is the ascendant as well. That's where it comes from. But it put everything in perspective. Higher consciousness is always, of course, it's always with you, but it's just you think that you're changing your name. You think that, oh, I don't want to be this. You can't not be yourself. And it's funny that he told me that. So it was a really amazing experience that had to do with Ma, the saint. And I think that was just really amazing. It really woke me up to who I'm meant to be, and really looking up to someone who's accomplished really miraculous feats. But I was saying to Vishnu, why did I have to go through all this street life? Why didn't I just awaken like Ma? Why wasn't I just born like Ma so I could just help people? And he said, no, your path is unique. There's reason for your path, and it's unique. So don't ever think that you want to be somebody else. Don't ever try to be anybody else but yourself. You may have a signature energy that qualifies, that is like that. It's qualitative like that, but you have a whole different path. That's why I'm saying I'm meant to be online. I'm meant to be in front of people, even though I want to be in the background. It's unique. Your path is unique. So don't think if you look at people's, it's not that you're bad and they're good or something like that, because I always thought if I was on the street that I was a bad person, and Vishnu was with me the whole time. It's not like religion. It's your higher consciousness that's always there. Like maybe you're tapped in, maybe it's not. But once you tap in, you're going to understand your path. If you connect and you do these mantras in Sanskrit, you will be able to connect to who you really are, to higher consciousness, to Vishnu, and you're going to be able to have these spiritual experiences. This happens to me very often. I just start talking about it online because I'm like, okay, like some people don't think it's so weird. I'm sure everybody I know in music thinks I'm super weird now. Maybe I'll talk about more in the future of what I have, because every day I meditate. It's something different. It's another spiritual experience for me. And I hope to be able to go more into higher self. I'm slowly, training my ego to get rid of my ego. Not get rid of it, because you need your ego, but you know what I mean. Calm it down a little bit, and so I can become more of a higher version, like have my life be of service towards others and devotion, which is what I've been on the path of for the past year and a half. Really waking up. So I just wanted to explain my spiritual experience. After that, I felt really tired. I felt kind of sick after, like really tired, like a release. It was like a complete release, and I feel it released me of a lot of things that were stuck, a lot of stuck energy of things I've been through, things I was holding on to, because I don't cry that often. I don't really get that sad, and I'm usually pretty happy, but to cry out of happiness is amazing, and it does feel like a release. So hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll see you in the next one.